All right, welcome back. It's Health Thursday right here on the Morning Crossfire. Our guest is already standing by. And of course, we put out a poster since yesterday on our Facebook page, our social media accounts as well. We're on Facebook, Twitter, we're on Instagram. You can go out there and look at the poster. This morning on Health Thursday, we're looking at the incidence of cardiovascular diseases, particularly stroke, as it's popularly called. I'm not a medical doctor, so I definitely will not be the one talking about this because I do not know anything about the medical side apart from what I saw. I have very, very practical experiences, and I will tell my guests of our experiences. I saw it with my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I was in Port Harcourt, River State, and my father was admitted not uncountable times at UPTH. But I guess this morning is Dr. Ovundah Nyeche. He's a cardiologist, he's a physician and a lecturer at the Department of Internal Medicine, Faculty of Clinical Sciences, River State University, Nkpolu Woroko, Port Harcourt. And of course, he's currently a senior registrar in the cardiology division at the Department of Internal Medicine, River State University. He's a member of the West African College of Physicians, Faculty of Internal Medicine. He's an associate member of the Nigerian Cardiac Society, a professional member of the European Society of Cardiology, a member of the American and British Society of Cardiography, a member of the International Society of Hypertension, and many more. We'll be talking with him this morning on preventing cardiovascular diseases, in particular stroke. We had a global celebration some days ago to mark this day. So good morning to you, Dr. Nyeche. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Kofi Bartels. Good to see you again.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm so excited every time I talk to my people from Port Harcourt. Really excited. You have some of the brightest minds in medical field in River State. You know, medicine and law is something River State people are really, really excelling. So it's great to have you join us. Now, for those of you listening this morning, and thank you, Dr. Nyeche, for having me to join us. For those of you listening this morning, when was the last time you checked your blood pressure? When was the last time you checked your blood sugar? When was the last time you checked your weight? When was the last time you were able to check your blood fat? I know it was something like that. My producer wrote it here. Okay, so stroke is said to be one of the leading causes of death and disability in Nigeria. Even around the world, globally, we hear that stroke remains the leading cause of death and disability, according to the WHO. That's the World Health Organization. If this hypertension is not treated, it can cause other health conditions like kidney disease, heart disease, and stroke. So let's just get to the crux of the matter. You can call, and the numbers to call 0700 993 993 993, 0700 993 993 993. We have 01 4657 190. That's for our female listeners. Alternative line for you, 01 4657 190. Last Saturday, that's September 16, was International Day for Interventional Cardiology. Doc, what is interventional cardiology?
Okay, so it's a branch of cardiology where you use interventions. In this context, let's say someone has a heart attack. Apart from medical treatment, you can pass stents. Stents are like pipes that you put into the heart vessel so that area can get its blood flow. Also, sometimes some patients, their hearts may not be moving properly, and then you may also need pacemakers, to set pacemakers. Sometimes also patients may have some of their vessels can be blocked, peripheral vessels like say in the limbs. You can also pass stents to open those things up. So it's a very interesting branch of cardiology.
Quite interesting, very interesting indeed. So why is it important for our listeners, those who are tuned in right now, who are busy moving around the hustle and bustle of Lagos, trying to make ends meet, who are concerned about the judiciary, who are concerned about the Supreme Court, who are concerned about elections, about inflation, about the dollar-naira exchange rate? Why should they stop and listen to this conversation this morning?
Because health is very vital. If you are not healthy, there are a lot of things you cannot do. In fact, if you're not healthy, there are a lot of decisions you cannot make. If you're not healthy, there are a lot of productivity you cannot be the best. obviously, if you're not very healthy, you won't even be in the radio station doing this interview this morning. And that's why our health is very important. Our body, we just have only one body. And that's why we need to take very good care of it, because if anything happens, damage. It's been a waste of resources, going round and round and round, and because the damage had already been done. So that's why it's important that Nigerians, we take our time to take care of our health. I just want to say something. That was some years back. We had a men's conference. So we just had all men's conference, and in that conference we had several departments. So we had a seminar section where people could just talk. So we had a health section, we had real estate, we had finance, we had several other stuff. I got the health section, and to my had just only myself in neuropsychiatry.
My God.
So it's obvious that a lot of people don't really take care of their health. And also sometimes you come to the hospital, you see people carrying very big gadgets, and then you tell them you need to do these tests. You say, it's too expensive. So it's very important that we take good care of our health. Very important.
All right. Quite interesting. Tell us about cardiovascular, diseases and stroke in particular. When we talk about stroke, what do we mean? When we talk about cardiovascular diseases, what are we talking about?
Okay, so when we say cardiovascular, two words, the heart and then the vessel. Of course, the vessel in this context are either the artery or the veins, as the case may be. But today, we are focusing on a stroke. What is stroke? Before I talk about stroke, just to note that our brain needs oxygen. Our brain needs glucose to function properly. And that's why sometimes if you don't eat very well, you will feel dizzy. There are things you cannot do because your brain actually needs glucose to function very well. However, it's not as if you carry glucose and put your brain, the brain needs, there's a vehicle. And what's the vehicle? The vehicle is blood. So in blood, oxygen flows in the blood. In blood, the glucose is in the blood, and then through the blood, you can be able to, the brain can get nourishment. So what happens is that there is a vehicle which blood moves, and that vehicle are the vessels. The vessels like the arteries and the veins. The veins bring the blood back to the heart. And of course, from the heart, the arteries take the blood from the heart to every other part of the body, where the heart, the part of the body will need the blood supply. So basically, for the brain takes about 15, maybe to 20% of whatever the heart pumps. So it's a very interesting organ. And so what happens in stroke is that the blood supply to a particular area of the brain is affected. What happens? Either the blood vessel ruptures, ruptures, it bursts, just like you have a pipe that breaks open. So sometimes pressure can be much, things can happen that will make blood vessels in that particular area burst. Also, sometimes there can be a blockade, just like sometimes in a pipe where you have things, rubbish has gathered and blocked the pipe. And so these things will mean that that area that the brain supplies, that blood vessel supplies, will not get oxygen, will not get glucose, and that area is prone to damage. And when this area is damaged, people can now start having the effect, the symptoms that characterize this particular illness that we call stroke. So that's the simplest way. I'm trying not to be technical today. I have to calm down and explain so that everybody understands.
All right. So the vessels that take blood to the brain, if they are blocked by these things you're talking about, then
yes.
All right. Very interesting. Is there a difference between this stroke you're talking about and a cardiac arrest? Remember the story of the man who was at a traditional wedding or reception. So when Elekaya housing estate, he was dancing energetically and just collapsed. And they said it was cardiac arrest. Is there a difference between stroke and a cardiac arrest?
So stroke is a disease of the brain. And then for cardiac arrest, we are talking about an arrest of the heart. And most times people confuse cardiac arrest to cardiac attack or heart attack. In fact, the brain is also called brain attack. This stroke is also called brain attack. So in cardiac arrest, we have a problem with the electrical activity of the heart. The heart is a very interesting organ that needs its own electricity to be able to pump. So apart from being a mechanical structure, it also has some electrical structures. So when there's an abrupt cessation of that electrical activity, what happens is that the heart can no longer pump blood the way it should pump, and that's what we call our cardiac arrest. However, we also have the heart attack, where the same thing we're talking about the brain, where a vessel, something can happen, and of course the vessel, because the heart itself is an interesting organ in the sense that apart from pumping blood, the heart also receives blood because it needs to be nourished as well. So some things can happen and the blood supply to the heart is blocked. And that's when we have the myocardial infarction. That's the bigger one. I would say we have person has myocardial infarction, or we are saying the person has a heart attack. So a cardiac arrest is a different thing altogether. And that's when some things that happen, and then there's an abrupt cessation of the electrical activity of the heart, and then there are problems.
All right.
Thank you.
Very interesting. For those who are listening, we can take your calls now. We want your questions as well. If you have any question to ask, please feel free. The number to call 0700 993 993 993 0700 993 993 993. We have an alternative line for our female listeners. You can call 01 465 7190. 01 465 7190. I tell you what, people, in the midst of the hustle and bustle, in the midst of all the important things that we are talking about, if life puts you at a standstill, it pauses you, all those things now waste though. All right. So it's important that you take care of your health. That's why we're having this conversation. Your health matters to us. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Benga from Lagos.
Benga, welcome. Healthy Thursday. Please go on.
Oh, sorry, please. I need nice to have you online anyway.
All right, Benga.
I need your guest to actually put a light on what is called seizure.
Seizure.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please go on.
Yes, seizure. Where you just kind of collapse and just pass out kind of for some moment.
I understand. I can relate. Okay,
stay with that's what the medical probably let me allow him to actually put a light on it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Doc.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Did you hear him?
No, I didn't hear him at all.
Oh my. I'm so sorry. He says he wants you to throw some light on seizure, the one that just happens and you pass out. That's what he called it, seizure.
All right. So seizure is a different thing altogether. Seizure medically, when we say someone has a seizure, what we are saying medically is that there's an abnormal electrical discharge from the brain. So the brain discharges, there's an abnormal discharge. It can be from an insult, probably from a stroke, because a stroke, of course, can cause a seizure. It can be as a result of probably the person has not eaten properly or the blood sugar sometimes is high. It can be as a result of anything. And then, of course, when people have seizures, there are various ways they manifest. So one way they manifest is what we call convulsion. So people can have convulsion, which is actually a motor manifestation of a seizure. So it is happening because there is a discharge. So that is basically what happens.
All right.
Sometimes when this seizure happens severally, maybe sometimes it happens repeatedly, see the person has epilepsy and all those things like that.
Okay. We have another listener on the line. Good morning.
This is Adeshawa from Ikorodu. Yes, the question I want to ask the doctor is that I'm a BP patient anyway. So there's this drug, this cardiovascular. I know he knows it very well. So it was reduced, as in when I went for my checkup, I go on a monthly checkup. So there's this drug, they had to reduce the dose for me. So I want to ask whether it is just okay like that, because I'm still taking my drugs very well. But that cardiovascular drug was reduced to just one dose per day instead of taking it morning and night. So that's what I want to ask that question, because I heard those drugs are enlarging the heart. How true is it?
Okay, are you talking about all those amlodipine, nifedipine? Is that what you're talking about?
Sir?
Are you talking about amlodipine, nifedipine, and those kinds of drugs?
No, I want to know whether it is right for them to have reduced it.
Okay, all right, no problem. I felt to have helped him to know what drug it is. Okay, this is not a consultation, but we just say for public enlightenment. Doc, over to you, please.
Please, it's as though I'm not hearing anything.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's from our end. She's saying that she's a blood pressure patient, and she had her dosage of a drug she takes every day reduced from, she didn't tell us the milligrams, but from 2 pills to 1 pill. And she wants to know if that is an issue, because she was told that the drug, if it's taken in large doses, can enlarge her heart.
All right. So basically, a lot of factors that a lot of things I may not know because she's not my patient or it's not my patient. However, drug prescriptions are not constitution that remains like that. So things happen. Sometimes you can adjust the drugs. Yesterday, I had a patient come to meet me. She was on a particular antihypertensive medication and she was having cough. And so that was one of the side effects of one of the drugs that she was on. So what do? We remove the drug and put something else. So a lot of things happen. So sometimes also you see your patients, they are taking plenty drugs. You may decide to just give a single pill that has several drugs inside. So all these things happen. So it's dependent on what the doctor or the physician saw that made him or her to either change, reduce, or remove the drugs, as the case may be.
Right. All right. Thank you very much. What are some of the risk factors? We don't have too much time. Maybe you can give us one, and then when we come back from our break, we take another one. What are some of the risk factors as far as a stroke is concerned?
Okay, so when we talk about stroke, or most likely many cardiovascular diseases, when we talk about risk factors, we have what we call modifiable risk factors and non-modifiable risk factors. Modifiable risk factors are the things you cannot change. For instance, the older you become, the higher the chance of having a stroke. Also, male sex, being a male has a higher chance of causing you to have stroke. And then being blacks are the higher risk factor of having stroke. And then having a family history of stroke. You can't change your family. So if, for instance, someone in your family, first degree relative, father, mother, have had a stroke.
Okay, Doc, please hold the thought. We'll be right back.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you.
Are you ambitious to earn above 500,000 naira and willing to take a career to the next level? Do you have a car and ready to start a new career work in an American company? Then this is an opportunity for you. An American company in Nyeche is recruiting in the managerial position. Kindly send your resume and application letter to jobs.kyevalir@gmail.com or call 0815-705-0505 or 0906-282-0052 to book an interview.
This is an infomercial.
All right, it's still the morning crossfire right here on 99.3 Nigerian. For sincere apologies for that. But our guest is standing by. We'll take your messages, we'll take your thoughts, we'll take your calls as soon as we're done with a commercial break. But we're looking at the incidence of stroke, the issue of stroke. It's or cardiovascular diseases, as some will call it. It's very, very important that we learn about preventing cardiovascular diseases or preventing stroke, and that's what we're doing. He's given us the risk factors, the things that could lead to or put you at a risk of having stroke. He says some of them are modifiable and some are non-modifiable, and he was talking about the ones I think that are non-modifiable, like age. The older you get, maybe if you're elderly person, you may be at risk. He talked about the blacks. He talked about people with family history. All I was saying to myself was, God forbid, not my portion. The blood of Jesus, I rejected as he was talking. Let's go for a commercial break. We'll be back.
You get your wash so extra clean. You're the queen of clean, extra clean. Good mama, makes you the queen of clean. Good mama, you get your wash so fresh, so fresh. The fragrance decent. Oh, good mama, you're the queen of fresh. Good mama.
Every good mama knows it's the booster beads that gives you the extra clean wash and extra fresh fragrance. Good mama detergent with clean and fresh booster beads. Get your wash extra clean, extra fresh. Good mama knows best.
Oh, why is the water still leaking? And how do I find a plumber around here now?
You are seriously worrying yourself?
Are you good?
all healthcare stakeholders across the entire value chain. See the 2020. With over 150 companies exhibiting from
20 diseases in particular, preventing cardiovascular disease and stroke in particular. Before we went on the break, Dr. Nyeche, you were giving us blow by blow the risk factors. So you talked about non-modifiable and modifiable, I believe I'm not mistaken. So please go on. Welcome back.
All right. So basically, I started with non-modifiable risk factors, and these are risk factors that you cannot change. We talked about age. We talked about the male gender. We talked about race. Say being black has presents a higher risk factor. We talked about family history of stroke. We also talked about prior stroke. If you've had a prior stroke or what we call a transient ischemic attack in the past, and then low birth weight as well have been postulated as a risk factor for stroke as regards non-modifiable. However, there are modifiable risk factors, which are factors that you can work on, you can change. And one of it is hypertension. And I like what you started with, know your numbers. It's unfortunate, a lot of people don't check their blood pressures. In fact, many times, it's when we come for the hospital and we have patients waiting for stroke, most times they are finding for the first time that their blood pressure is very high. So sometimes you see people walking around the street with blood pressure as high as 200 or 150, moving around the street. And people don't check their blood pressure. And then sometimes you see people that are ultra hypertensive, they don't take their drugs or take their drugs only when they feel funny or feel some kind of symptoms. Also, another modifiable risk factor is diabetes. A lot of people have diabetes, and that's why it's important to check our blood sugar and especially to invest very well in our health. Also, the issue of dyslipidemia or hypercholesterolemia. So I was in a church one time and we are doing a program. So I said, anybody stand up. If you checked your blood pressure in the past 1 week or 1 day, it was amazing. The feedback was amazing. And then if you check your blood sugar the past 1 week, In fact, there are people that have never checked their blood sugar before, never checked their blood pressure before, and they're adults, And then also, the one that was funny was if you have checked your blood cholesterol before, stand up, sit down. Nobody there stand down.
Blood cholesterol, never heard of that.
Yes, your cholesterol, that's fasting lipid profile. Check your bad cholesterol, your bad cholesterol, your good cholesterol, your triglycerides also. Then also risk factor like smoking cigarettes. Cigarette has is a major risk factor as regards to stroke, not just smoking cigarette, also passively smoking cigarette. So you may not be smoking cigarette and you are hanging around people that smoke. The risk factors is still there. And these days, we're not just talking about cigarettes, we're talking about things like shisha, we're talking about things like marijuana, we're talking about things like
vaping,
e-cigarettes.
Okay.
Yes. So we have a lot, so it's expanding. And then we also have a sedentary lifestyle culture. So I was telling somebody that day that what some people do is that they drive, the only walk they do is just from their car to whatever they want to go to, and then they enter their car back. And sometimes some people live on traffic, don't do anything, live on traffic, and then you come down. So you find out that these days we are not exercising again, and it's important. Then also talking about alcohol misuse, drug misuse, drugs like cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, and so on and so forth. So we have an issue. And then talking about a particular suspect, because these days we now see that young people now have stroke. So you have people that are younger than 45 coming down with stroke. So it's important to note that these ones can have congenital cardiac problems or cardiac disease, So that's why it's important that people come for checkup, come and check yourself. Also, people that have sickle cell disease can also have high risk of a stroke, HIV, people that have snake bite, people that have some genetic conditions. So it's important that people come for checks so that if they have risk factors, they can be sorted out beforehand.
Right. Doc, we're out of time, but there's a question on WhatsApp. You can answer in a sentence. Collins is asking, is it normal for one's BP to be high in the morning?
Well, doesn't necessarily follow. It doesn't necessarily follow. However, like we say, if your blood pressure, it's important to check your blood pressure. In fact, during the World Hypertension Day, the theme of the World Hypertension Day was measure your blood pressure accurately.
Okay.
Measure it.
Doc, I'm sorry, we have to go. But I'm going to ask you the questions offline. I'll send a reply to the Thank you so much, Dr. Ovundah Nyeche.
Nyeche, it is time to celebrate with the Nyeche 250,000 naira jackpot on one play. Up to 250,000 naira to be won. One person will walk away with 150,000 naira, and another person will walk away with 100,000 naira. Because at one play, it is all about winning. To enter the jackpot draw, just play one play from the 18th to the 29th of September by dialing *347 *880 *3# and follow the prompt. Everyone who plays from the 18th to the 29th will automatically enter into the jackpot draw. The more you play, the more your chances of winning. And on the 29th of September, winners will be selected randomly. If the system picks your phone number, you are the lucky winner, and Nigeria Info will call you live on air. Winners must pick up the live call. If not, another winner will be selected immediately. Winners must also come to the studio to claim their prizes. Nyeche at 63, the 250,000 naira jackpot. It is time to win, and with just 200 naira, you could be that winner. So dial *347 *880 *3# to start playing now, because with one play, it is all about winning. I did say this before, right? And that's not all. The daily draws will still hold from the 18th till the 29th of September. So keep playing and keep winning. Follow on Instagram and Twitter at OnePlayNG and on Facebook at OnePlayNigeria for more information. OnePlay is a registered trademark under Lasho Trading Services Limited, licensed by the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission. Note, this is not suitable for persons under the age of 18. Remember to always play responsibly. Terms and conditions do apply.
This is an infomercial. More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
My son has a football match at school today, but looks tired already, wearing his boots slowly, like someone turned down our playback speed. with Golden Penny Choco, he eventually comes alive. Now Junior is back on his feet to take on his day. Cause I make breakfast time Choco time.
Golden Penny Choco for everyday energy.
See my brother no go come. If they ask for your CVV, no go drop bomb. If anybody tell you, say, hey, I'm calling from the bank, can you send me your PV and make you block come? Come on back by the world, more bill. If they want you pin, tell them no will. NCDC know they share free money. Make you no go carry mulatro, will or the go bill. Protect your password. Use the factor, make your account no go actor. And make you know they click links that you can't trust. Or you go receive a lot you can't account for. No go for my God. No go lose God.
No go for MAGA. Confirm am again.
This message is brought to you by the Bankers Committee, Central Bank of Nigeria, in partnership with the Committee of Chief Information Security Officers of Nigerian Financial Institutions.
Uncle Dentist, what are cavities? And how does Colgate protect my teeth from cavities? Does it use Kung Fu?
No, dear. Most tooth pains are caused by tooth holes called cavities. When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps protect them from cavities.
It's time to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Keeps cavities out!
Colgate is recommended by the Nigerian Dental Association.
No matter what I do, you love me unconditionally. You show up for me every day, no matter when I show you.
A mother's love is unconditional. Nothing serves this love better than a bowl of Indomie. So, show some love with Indomie.
Oh, why is the water still leaking? And how do I find a plumber around here now?
You are seriously worrying yourself?
Are you going to do the plumbing work for me?
Nah. With Workman, I don't have to do guesswork. You can get reliable plumbers around you in minutes. Download the Workman app today from your Play Store or iOS and get service providers help you get what you need done, ranging from hairdresser, plumber, electrician, carpenter, bricklayer, mechanic, and others.
You don't mean it.
See, I just requested for a plumber for you. He should be here soon.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank Workman. To find Workman app, just type WRKman on your Play Store and you will see it. Need help? Get help. Get help.
No matter what I do, you love me unconditionally. You show up for me every day, no matter when I show you.
A mother's love is unconditional. Nothing serves this love better than a bowl of Indomie. So, show some love with Indomie.
Leader of trading himself. James, hello.
Susan, I beg. Say you dey whine me.
For where? You who no longer depend solely on your salary.
So you people trade and don't carry us along in this office, Abby?
Jerry, now you dey talk like this? Who doesn't want an extra stream of income? But I'm still looking for better trading conditions, I beg. Fast execution of my trades and possibly an account where swap no go carry all my profits where I no know.
Guy, HFM.com.
For me, I wouldn't mind better spreads at all, and it won't be a bad idea to be able to make withdrawals in a flash.
All we want is transparency and great customer